So I was in the shower, I was cleaning my ass and making all sure it's all sparkly, spanky clean.
I'm not the funny one, I'm the pretty one.
Cock shots. I just checked myself out.
Candles, music, wine, and then lube up and get on top.
The glory hole's like a big theater. I've imagined your family.
Which means your pants had better come off. Mama needs playtime.
We're not sluts.
We just love love.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Atom.
And this is Mrs. Adam.
And we're here with another week of By the By.
Yes, welcome back.
You made it.
Yes.
Thanks.
It's now Wednesday again. Hump day.
Woot. Yeah. Hump day. So are you a two-humped camel or a one-humped camel? I don't remember what they're called. Like, there's a bioremedial, what is it, two camel kind?
Oh, I have no idea.
Dromedary. Dromedary is one.
Okay.
And the other kind is...
That one sounds familiar, but I don't know there's another kind.
Dromedary is two humps. There are people yelling at their phones right now. Yelling in their cars because they know what it is. Dromedary, and it starts with a B.
Hold on. I'm trying to find it.
Folks, we cannot start this podcast until Mrs. Adam Googles this and tells me what it is. It's dromedary is the two-humped camel. I know that. He says...
So dromedary or the one-humped.
Damn it is a one-humped camel. Son of a...
Bactrian.
Bactrian. I told you it started with a B.
There's also the critically endangered wild Bactrian camel that has limited population somewhere that I now have to go to Wikipedia to find out.
Does it have three humps?
No.
Is there a three-humped camel?
No.
If you have a one-humped camel and it has babies with a two-humped camel, how many humps do you get? 1.5? Thank you for joining us to this camel podcast. The humor is dry.
Oh, that's even worse.
Oh my God. Yeah, so, sorry about that. Here we are. So we're going to talk about a couple of weekends that we've had in which we have, we got basically 3 stories we'll tell you. The first one is we've got a new Manticore. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know what a Manticore is, what the hell is wrong with you? No, I'm kidding. So unicorns are single females. And some people call single males manicorns, but that's not a word, so whatever. So we came up with Manticore. So it's a single male.
Yes.
And plus it's a man. A Manticore. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So we got a new one of those. We keep him in the shed down by the river. Got him.
We keep him locked up in the garage downstairs.
I'm not doing well tonight. So we met this fella at the pendulum party, the second pendulum party.
Yes.
Which, let's take a side step away from the story.
Yes.
And do commercial time.
What's coming up?
What is coming up? The next pendulum party, that's Pendulum Party Part 3, or the third pendulum party, or Pendulum Party Tray, if, that's the way you go, is going to be Friday, August 25th.
Yes.
And in a double, special kind of thing.
Like double penetration?
Double penetration. Totally. We're going to make that night completely airtight and say that there is a sex ed in the city class before the pendulum party, and it is going to be on pegging.
Yes.
Where Mrs. Adam will don her strap-on, and, she'll demonstrate some pegging with moi.
Exactly. I'm so excited.
Yeah, should be a hoot and a holler.
It's one that we've wanted to do for a while, and there have been a lot of requests for it. So I'm really excited to pair this class up right before the pendulum party.
Yeah, it just totally fits.
Yeah.
Pun intended. Yeah, so it should be great. So pendulum party, August 25th. Put it on your calendars. Tickets go on sale soon. So we met him. So Lawrence at OSS sends us all the pictures of the single guys and information that the single guys send him before they can come to pendulum party, because you have to be vetted.
Because we want to make sure that any single guys coming are at least bi-curious or interested, if not fully bisexual, because we don't want to have a whole lot of straight guys there when we're trying to promote same-sex play.
Exactly. And,
Or at least same-sex acceptability.
And the honest truth is we don't care what you look like. It's just the fact that you took the effort to send a picture. Mm-hmm. Because you'd be amazed at how many people are interested in the party until you ask them to send a picture, and then suddenly they're not interested in the party.
Right.
So it's just a way to vet and clear people. But this fella sent a picture, and I still remember when we got the picture because I was like, ooh, I like this one. He's cute. And I responded almost instantly back to Lawrence. Yes, he's a definite yes. Yes, he's a yes. And so then come Pendulum Party, he was the first person there.
Yep.
Like the party started at 8. I think he was there
8:30, I think.
Okay, well, he was there at 8:31.
Yeah.
And so we had some private time just to kind of talk to him. It was his first time in the club and take him on the tour. Anyway, the long and short of it is we got his contact information, I think, from that night. And
we all started chatting.
Yeah.
And I think we've mentioned before, but we met him for a drink afterwards and just kind of catch up and get to know him a little better and vice versa, to see if there was actually chemistry there, outside of the club and whatnot. And it was good. We had a good time there.
Yeah.
So several weeks ago, we had him over for an afternoon.
Yes.
Evening, something.
Well, what started out as an afternoon and went on into the evening. So he came over and, I know he brought a bottle of wine.
Yes.
Which was a good bottle of wine. Mm-hmm. And we sat on the couch and just chit-chatted for a little while. Mm-hmm. And that was fun. And then, I don't know, typical one thing led to another, but I never really remember how it happens. Do you remember how it happened?
No.
Yeah.
Somehow we all ended up back in the bedroom.
Yeah, and...
as you do.
As you do, come over to our house, we'll show you the bedroom.
I do know that a lot of the clothes came off in the living room because afterwards... For some reason, I thought that a lot of my clothes came off in the bedroom until I was trying to find them afterwards, and they were actually out here.
I think it was just your clothes that came off out here, and that he and I basically got undressed back there.
I actually do remember. It's coming back to me now because I remember sitting on the couch, and both of you, one was on each side, and you were kind of sucking on my breasts and licking and kissing, and that was kind of awesome.
Yeah.
So yes, I did at least lose my top out here.
And then we ended up back in the bedroom, and we had him down on the S.
Yes.
And that was nice because we were just sort of, it was one of those, again, having seen him in the Pendulum Party, but not really. We didn't play a lot. We played a little at the Pendulum Party, but it was like, hey, are you okay with this? And he was like, once he was at our place, and we were like, are you okay with this? And he was like, yes.
We were able to test boundaries and actually talk about what is okay. What is okay? What are your limits? What do you like? Not just what's okay, but what do you like? And it was fun to have him on the S because we didn't have him tied down or anything. He was simply laying on it. But we were able to kind of go back and forth between kissing him, going down on him, At first, I think you were kissing him and I was going down on him. Then we kind of switched places and there was a bit of back and forth there. And I think at one point, one of us was going down on him, the other one was licking his balls. And so it was just that kind of that fluidity of us on him, basically, is how that started out.
And it's fun to do that because also it's fun to know what that feels like. And, having been on the receiving end of that, there's something really nice about having two people, really, no matter the sex, paying attention to you. And it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to give that to somebody and do that for somebody.
And that way you don't have to, while someone's going down on you, you're not thinking, gosh, I wish I could be kissing someone. Because, oh, wait, there's someone there to be kissing on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he. This is gonna sound really. I'm not gonna say bad, but just kind of odd to say. He presents well. Mm-hmm. He's an attractive guy. He's got good body size, shape, whatever. Yep. He clearly takes care of himself.
Fit.
He's fit and clean, and that's nice. He is hung like a small baby holding an apple, which
he's good sized.
Constant listeners know that that can be kind of intimidating for some of us. But yeah, so we played with him for quite a while on the S.
Yeah.
And then finally, I think he was like, I need to fuck something. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me and he's like, I can't remember the words he used, but it was basically...
He basically asked if he could fuck you.
Can I fuck you?
Yeah.
and
that might have been what he said. I don't remember.
Maybe. I don't remember exactly. But I basically looked down at him and I was like, holy shit, I don't know. And I think that was my response.
It was, and you said you can try.
You can try. I'm willing to give this a go, but I don't know if this is going to actually fit. Again, it's hard to park a bus in a spot made for a motorcycle.
Compact car,
But we folded the mirrors in. And so, so we lubed up and condomed up and... Condomed up. And so I found that my favorite position to start in, if I'm not starting on top, my favorite position to start in is I actually think it's called the sleeping child or something. Mm-hmm. It's where your knees are scrunched under your chest and you're stretched out kind of in front of you. It's a yoga position, which is a really great position, but it sort of lines everything up to where you only have one or two muscles that you have to think about relaxing.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about all the others.
And it's particularly easy if you do have like a small pillow or something that you can kind of rest your arms on as well if needed.
Yeah.
So that way, that helps.
So, I gotta be honest, I was actually, I will say this, I surprised myself in that it was actually not that bad. Because let's be realistic, anal sex, it doesn't really hurt. It's not meant to hurt, but it's not like the first 15 seconds are never, for me, the greatest feeling in the world. But once he was in and going, it was great.
And I have to admit that I expected you to go a lot slower getting him in, just because I know that you were reticent about the size. But, I mean, it didn't really take you that long at all, because I was, kind of watching you from the front side, and at one point I went around to watch, because I like to watch from that angle as well, and he was basically in you, and I was like, wow, that was a lot faster than I expected. So
that's right. If you're gonna do something, goddamn do it.
Commit.
I'm not pussyfooting around, pun intended. And so it was fucking awesome.
And he's really, I like to watch him with you as well, because he's gentle, but yet he's firm. And so he pays attention to you.
Yes.
And how fast or how slow does he need to go. But at the same time, depending on your feedback, he'll just kind of go for it as well, unless you respond otherwise.
And it is interesting because, and at some point I want to grill him, because we really haven't grilled him about his sexual experiences.
No,
we know some of his experiences and how he came to sort of identify as experimental or bi or whatever. But it's interesting because as a top, he's an excellent top. And I don't know if he's had a lot of anal sex with women or with guys, if he's topped a lot of guys. But you're right, he does. Or if it's just, maybe that's just how he is. Maybe that's the kind of person he is.
It could be his personality,
He is very cognizant of the partner. Mm-hmm. And that's really exactly what you want as, from a bottom point of view, is someone who's cognizant and very
pays attention,
clear, paying attention to what's going on with you.
But
so we did that for a little while, and then we did that for a little while, and then we stopped, and then I think changed condom, and then he went on to you.
Yes.
And that was kind of awesome.
Yeah, that was nice. So this was back when I was still a little more limited on sexual positions with my feet. So he, I think, was on top of me at first, and we did that for a little while. But then we ended up going to doggy, because that one's really was easy for me to do at the time. It puts him at a really good angle for me as well.
Yeah.
So we kind of went a bit between the different positions there.
Oh, that's right, because I remember now you used the female condom.
Yes, we did use the female condom because we were trying to see if we could do that rather than you two wearing condoms necessarily.
But what's funny is I don't think I ever fucked you.
You didn't, no.
Yeah.
He did, and so we tried that and basically decided no. And I don't know that it was as much from his perspective as from mine, in that it's not sexy to put on
No, it's not. It's not sexy to look at either.
No, it's way sexier to put a condom on a guy than it is to put that inside me. And it doesn't look appealing either.
No, it really doesn't. It's like, look, she's got a trash can liner.
So we tried that for a little bit first, and I think before we ever went to doggy, we gave up on that.
Yeah.
And, pulled it out, he put on a condom, and we just did that. But then we went to doggy style for a bit, and again, he's good sized, but that puts him at a good angle for me. It feels really good.
Yeah. And then we did the whole where you and I 69 and he's fucking you from behind.
Yes.
And I love that because there's something great about being able to play with your clit orally and then also suck on his balls. And, that's... I think it was a bit much for him because I think he was having this sort of concentration issue, like, oh my God, it's like...
Don't know what to focus on.
I don't know what to focus on. But we did that for a while and that was fun.
And I really like that because there's, it's great to have someone behind me, but then to also be able to have your cock in my mouth and kind of like full from both sides kind of thing. But it just, I don't know. Yeah, it's really awesome.
It's spit roasting with a collapsed post. So yeah, that was fun. And then at some point he came back to me.
Yes.
Again, probably new condom. Well, definitely new condom. But it was because he didn't have a condom with you because you had the.
He did after we went to doggy.
No.
Because I took the female condom out.
After doggy, you did.
Oh, I thought it was before.
No, because I kept thinking if he comes, this is going to be kind of hot.
Okay.
Because it'll still be kind of dripping out of you and I'll be under you. And there's something really hot for me about the whole another man's cum in your pussy.
Okay.
And,
I don't remember it.
There's something
clearly.
really hot about that. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I remember thinking that specifically, but he didn't come then.
Gotcha.
And so then he came new condom onto me again. That time was a bit different because I think, and it's funny. So I think it was just between the two of us. A little bit of air got pushed in first.
Oh, okay.
And so you feel the air compressing. To feel air compressing way inside of you while someone's fucking you is an odd feeling. And at times I'm like, oh, this is feeling good. And then at times I'm like, I might explode. But ultimately it was great. But that's an odd feeling. So yeah, and then he pulled out of me, and then we went back to you. I don't know. There was a lot of
back and forth and fluidity, and I think that's part of what makes it so fun, is that you and I can play a little bit. He plays some with you, some with me, some of all three of us, but there's no. I don't know. I don't feel like in that scenario anybody's ever really left out.
Yeah.
It's just very fluid and natural with him.
And it is one of those, the natural thing of a threesome is that somebody is always sort of on the outs.
Yeah.
It just sort of happens. That's just the way it is. But if you occasionally find that right balance of threesome where really no one feels like they're on the out unless they put themselves
and
on
want
the
to just watch for a minute.
If you take yourself out of it, then it's okay.
Yeah.
But
because there are those times where you're a bit overstimulated and you're like, I just need to kind of sit back for a minute, watch, see what else is going on, but I need to have a moment here.
I need a minute. And so that was kind of cool. And so he went back to fucking you, and at some point I think he was going down on me and you were going down on him, and I was fingering you, which is back to one of those great sort of rings of pleasure.
Rings of awesomeness.
Yeah. And at that point I think I might have came all over everyone.
I think so. Yes.
Because
it kind of went everywhere.
Well, it wasn't my fault. It was his fault. We'll blame him because he was jacking me off, and then next thing you know, boom, and it was just like, psh, like I don't know,
fire hose.
Yeah, like a fire hose, and it was going everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was raining. And so I know I think I can orgasm no less than 3 times that time, but I don't remember where the other 2 went. Just the fact, I'm sure one of them was inside of you. But it was kind of crazy. I do remember. Yeah. So then later on, I don't remember. Maybe he was fucking you, and then he came, and then we all kind of laid there and talked for a little while. And we had arranged with him beforehand to go with us to see a play in Sydney. And so you got up and jumped in the shower. And while you were in the shower, he and I were playing again.
Mm-hmm.
And and then I was on my back and he was fucking me a little, and I think I came again. Just it was the me show. It was great. I love that show. We should get a season pass on iTunes. So that was, and then
because I came out of the shower and you two were still playing on the bed, and that was kind of hot to watch.
And you were like, guys, we gotta go. Finish up.
Not really. It was more, I need to get ready. So I'm going to get ready, and you guys can take care of yourself.
Do whatever the fuck you want. And we did. Yes. So we, that was good. And we went and see the show, and it was we popped his theater cherry.
Yes.
That was kind of awesome because he had never seen a play before. And the play we took him to was this really deep, dark, intense, beautifully done piece of work by an Australian playwright who I don't remember her name, but we were lucky enough to meet her. But the name of the show is Morgan Stern. If you ever see it, see it. If you've already seen it, you know it's great.
And that was nice, too, because it was the first play he had seen, but it was very kind of dark, and there were multiple interpretations. Afterwards, there's multiple ways you could interpret the show. And even during the show, what you thought of it, or what I think each of us thought of it, changed at different points during the show. Because at one point you have this perspective of it, then something happens and your perspective shifts. And it was really great to talk with him about that afterwards.
And it was cute to see him watch the play because the whole, in the beginning he's leaned back, and as the play goes on, he and you both were leaning closer and forward and forward and forward. It was adorable to watch you two.
And you were leaning back trying to get away from it.
To get away from it because it was a little intense for me. But so as a side note, it's a play by Gina Shine Pills. And she was there. So after the play, and for me, it's like, what a wonderful opportunity for someone who has never seen a play before to get to speak to the playwright. And that was such one of those unique moments.
And the producer.
Who is a great, follow him on Twitter at Robbie James. So he was one of the masterminds behind the show. Fantastic. It was such a great show. It was
a really, really lovely evening overall. But I think it's funny, you're talking about watching him watch the show. And I know at one point, I know the two of you did it, and there were other people in the audience I could hear as well. But at one point, everyone was kind of holding their breath.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's this collective sigh that gets let out as everybody kind of breathes out and then sucks air back in. And I noticed it more so because I didn't do it. And so I was like, what's going on? Did I miss something?
And it was funny because during the show, everybody who listens to us, I think, knows that we're both touchy people, and it was hard for me not to put my hand on his leg, but because
he was sitting in between us.
I made that deliberate choice. But it's one of those things that and I think that maybe the next time we all go out, I'll be a little more brazen about that. But since that was our first kind of...
And not knowing how comfortable he would be in public.
And I think this is a conversation that we should just have with him. It's like, hey, would you be okay with that if I were to do that?
Right. If the scenario arises again.
And I'm okay with no, and I'm okay with yes.
Yeah. It was hard not to touch, though. Because I always just want to put my hand on whoever's next to me's leg, as long as I know them. I mean, not like a random stranger.
Hello, stranger.
But maybe a stranger. I don't know. Depends on how cute they are.
That's why bus rides are so interesting with you. We parted ways, and it was kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Support local theater, people. You never know what threesomes you'll see at a theater. So then, fast forward to yesterday. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yesterday. And he came by again.
Yes.
Hello. This time he did not bring wine.
No.
That's all right. We still like him because we have our own wine. But it was earlier in the day. It was like he came by about 3:00. Mm-hmm. And we chatted for an hour. And then the next thing you know, we were sitting on, this is one of those great stories. We were sitting on the couch watching cat videos, as you do. And then you went up, and he was again in between us. You got up to go to the bathroom, and I mean, the next thing I knew, I was sitting straddle him shirtless, and he's got his hands down the back of my pants, and we're making out, and that was kind of one of those. Yeah. So there's those few moments in life where I feel like a teenager again. And I really like those moments because they don't happen very often. But for me, straddling somebody on a couch makes me feel really young. Yeah, and it's always nice grinding into him and feeling him getting harder beneath me.
Yeah.
That was hot.
Yeah. Yeah, because I came back out and found you guys like that, and I was like, this is a nice show. I'm just going to sit here and watch this for a minute.
I think by the time you came out, he was shirtless as well.
I think so, yes. You were both shirtless.
It wasn't like you peed that long. It was just...
It happened that fast.
Yeah, it happened that fast. It was like, it was that the straw was broken. We couldn't hold back anymore, and then there you go. So then you sat down next to us. We continued making out, which is another thing. The fact that he doesn't instantly jump to you is such a boon for my self-esteem.
Yeah.
Which, let's be realistic, any boon to your self-esteem is a good boon. But anyway, and next thing you know, we were back in the bedroom again. You once again were shirtless. We were basically naked walking back to the bedroom. It was great.
Yeah, we were.
And we ended up, again, much like the time before, just going down on him back and forth for a while.
At first, yeah. He's so much fun to play with because he likes that.
He likes edging.
Tease and the edging and
I hate edging.
Yeah, but he likes it.
But he really does enjoy it.
Because there's some times where I could tell it was so intense and I'm like, should I back off? Should I not? But he's not saying anything. Yeah. I'm not going to back off.
Yeah.
So it's like if he wants me to back off, he'll say something.
He'll say, please back off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of awesome. And I know at one point I thought, all right, we're going to try this. I'm going to try rimming through a dental dam. I thought, this is, we've never actually.
We did it once after one of the classes, but we've never really done it in play with another
partner. I think I did
partner.
it on you, yeah.
Yeah.
But not with another play partner.
Right.
Definitely not a guy.
Right.
And typically when I rim, it's only really special occasions with people that I really like, know, and trust, and blah, 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 whatever. But with him, I was like, well, let's give this a go. Not that I don't like, know, or trust him, but never mind. So I got out one of the dental dams, and I started, and I will say the problem number one is I thought a couple of times I was suffocating.
I could tell because I was going down on him while you were rimming him. And there were a few times where I could see it was like all plastered up to your nose, and you'd kind of pull back and be like, yeah.
It's like, all right, this is not working. Of course, he was on his back, so that's harder.
Yes.
In hindsight, we should have put him up on one of the wedges so that his ass is up in the air a little more, or rolled him over and let you 269.
Right.
But then the problem is it's harder to 69 when you're on the bottom because then
we'll try the wedge next time.
Yeah.
There'll be a next time.
Or rolling on your side or something. I don't know. Yeah. We need to fix that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
or even if he's on the S with his scooted down towards the end.
Maybe.
Potentially.
Maybe, yeah. So it's just.
But that has the same effect as the wedge.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. It's something that we'll have to work on. But it was good. And I think he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it was just like there was a few times I'm like, I was like seeing local Sydney man suffocates on dental dam while going down on a partner while his wife was going down on the partner.
I thought that was really hot though because I like going down on a guy obviously, and then to see you right there in front of me rimming him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something really sensual about that.
So what we need is all three of us in a bathtub and get nice and bath and clean, and then I'll just ditch the dental dam.
Okay.
But all three of us in that bathtub is...
That's going to be fun.
Entertaining?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that'll be great. So that was fun. And then, we moved to a few sexual positions. I think he fucked me for a little while again, which was nice. But this time, instead of him asking me, I was like, look, man, you're going to have to do that. I'm not going to give you a choice. I had the poppers this time.
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't know what poppers are, let's take a side note about poppers. Poppers, also known as amyl nitrate, are typically used to clean wood. There's a pun there. But it's I really don't know what it's used for. Is it a polish? Is it a wood polish?
Oh, I have no idea. Do you want me to look it up?
We're going to take a quick break here while...
the only use I ever know for them is
sexual.
Yeah, I don't know
but
the real life.
That's not the... that's not the reason to buy them.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't really know.
I don't know. It's an inhalant, folks. And it's kind of awesome. So if you're one of those people who, like me, likes to smell gasoline, like you go to the gas tank and you're like, or you go to the petrol, whatever, and you like the smell of inhalants and stuff like that. It's basically something that it gives you this kind of rush that doesn't last long. For me, it's 2 to 5 minutes, but it's I don't know. It just sort of relaxes the entire body. So for me, if I'm deep throating somebody or being fucked anally, it just sort of relaxes those muscles, and you don't really fucking care for a little while. So if it bothers you, if it hurts in the beginning, a couple hits off of amyl nitrate, and you're like, oh well, it doesn't hurt that much. Just go ahead and do it. So I like them.
So I did find there's actually multiple medical uses for it.
Really?
But beyond the medical uses, it's used as a cleaning, according to Wikipedia anyway, it's used as a cleaning agent and solvent in industrial and household applications. It replaced difluoromethane, industrial chemical banned in 96.
Okay,
right?
Yep.
So it's also used as a printed circuit board cleaner.
I was just about to say, I saw that it's a leather polish or tape head cleaner.
A very small amount is added to some perfumes as well. But there actually are several medical uses for it as well. So
yeah, it's kind of awesome stuff. It comes in a wee little bottle about the size of your thumb. I'd say a 5 ml bottle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what poppers are. So all you folks out there who are like, what the hell's a popper? Yeah, it's not a jalapeno popper. You could probably sniff jalapeno poppers, and I gotta be honest, sniffing jalapeno poppers might improve anal sex as well, because I love jalapeno poppers. But yeah, so
that would be an interesting sight to see.
But only the ones that are filled with cheddar cheese, not cream cheese.
Oh yeah, the cream cheese ones aren't good.
Why would you put cream cheese in jalapeno? Anyway, so poppers are awesome. So I took a couple hits off poppers. The only recreational drug that I've ever used. I don't even call it a drug. If you smell something, it's not. Anyway. And so that, it was kind of awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this time I will say it took me a little longer to kind of relax and
it did, which gave me a lot more time to watch him slide into you, and that was just so exciting.
Yeah.
I don't know how I can describe it, but I just love to watch someone slide into you like that, and I don't know, yeah. It just really turns me on.
Again, baby's hand holding an apple, baby's arm open and holding an apple. It's like, God, it is one of those feelings that once he's fully in, I honestly feel like I might be choking to death.
Interesting.
It's like I can almost feel it in my chest.
That's got to be psychological.
It is psychological, but it is a whoo, like, wow, woof. So yeah, then he after he and I fucked for a little while, I think he went to you again.
Yep, changed condoms and came to me. And
at that point, I was... Oh, that's right, because
you came, because so while he was fucking you, I was jacking you off.
Yeah.
And you came.
Like an immense, crazy amount.
Yes, and then you just kind of collapsed.
I did. I literally fell on the floor. And jokes aside, my thighs are still numb today, like sore today.
Yeah.
I had to lay on the floor for a little while. It was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you collapsed, so he changed condoms
and laughed at me, and then both of you guys started fucking. It was great. And I was laying on the floor, and by the time I climbed up on the bed, then I was like, oh, well, now I feel like I have this void in my nether regions. So we have a new butt plug that has a long fox's tail on it. And so I was like, oh, I wonder what this feels like. And so after having him in there, I put this new butt plug in, which is glass, which was icy cold when it went in. And I think I had that in for the rest of the night because it was kind of awesome. It's, as a side note, it's really nice to be able to wag a tail.
Yeah, because he came to me, and at that point he wanted to fuck me, and I don't remember what there was some position we did first.
It was missionary.
Okay, so it was missionary first, and then we switched to cowgirl.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that for a little bit. Actually, it seemed like quite a while. I don't know how long it was, but I did that for a bit until it's like I can't really hold myself up anymore.
It is fun to watch him fuck you because you're very like harder. Yes, harder. And I'm like, wow, that girl knows what she wants. Because I think, and it goes back to the fact that you and I, we have enough sex that I know when you want it harder, so you don't necessarily tell me. So I'm like, okay.
I will sometimes, but not as often.
Very occasionally. But with other partners, you're very vocal about what you want.
Yeah.
And it's really hot to watch that. And I'm like, oh, that's, I don't hear that from her very often.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then I think once I couldn't stand anymore, because, cowgirl, I did that, and then also the squatting above him as well. But then once I couldn't stand anymore, once that started to hurt my feet again, we went back to good old doggy.
Good old fashioned doggy.
I love it though. I know I don't know, it might be cliche, but I love doggy. And
no, I don't think so. I think it's a great position, both visually and sexually. Yeah. But yeah, so and so it was great because while he fucked you, I just laid there and played with my tail.
Yeah.
And then at some point you started going down on him again, and at that point I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna fuck you again." So then I was fucking you
with the tail.
With the tail. So the tail was smacking me in the back of the legs, and it was really funny because he was just like, I couldn't not look at the tail.
And I imagine that having the tail between your legs like that and having it just feeling it brush up against, that has to be an amazing feeling.
Walking is interesting because you do, because that butt plug is kind of awesome because it's big around, but it's not so big around that like after our orgasm it has to come out.
Right.
It's just big enough to know it's there, but it's delightfully long. So it feels good the entire, I just love it. Yeah. But then again, walking around, feeling the tail brush against the backs of my legs is really kind of awesome. And then when I was laying down, I was pulling it in between my legs. You were. I was just
stroking
great.
Your tail.
I was stroking my tail. It feels great. I love that thing. So now I want a longer one. So yeah, I want one that I was
gonna say a longer one. What about like a fluffier one? That's
I think
like
a fluffier
kind of
thick? one. Yeah, I want to collect tails.
Yeah.
We have a horse's tail and then a fox tail.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of great. And there was a couple of times where I was trying to rearrange myself on the bed, and I would put my foot up and accidentally step on my own tail. And it's kind of funny because you put your foot up, you step on your own tail, and then you move your body, and you can feel it pulling against you.
Oh.
And I'm like, whoa. That's, woof. It does hurt to step on your own tail.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a good experience. But, yeah, so ultimately.
It was good. And then, I don't know, there was play back and forth and whatnot. And then at some point... because I know you fucked me and came in me.
Yes.
And then
that was.
And then and you didn't have a condom on then.
Yeah.
So you came in me, and as soon as you pulled out, he was ready.
I wasn't even pulled out. He was already behind me, going, "I want to fuck her now with your cum in her."
Yeah, and so he had a condom on, ready to go, and he went right in me as soon as you pulled out.
I pulled out, and he basically shoved me out of the way, tail and all, and it went right into you, which I thought was awesome. And so that was kind of hilarious, and hot, like really hot.
Yeah.
And it ended up making quite a mess on the bed.
Yeah, it's okay. That's what dry cleaners are for.
That's what dry cleaners. I forgot to pick up my suit from the dry cleaner. Anyway,
we can drop the cover off while you're there.
Drop the cover off and get a new suit.
Yeah.
Get my suit. So yeah, he fucked you again for a little while, and then.
At some point, we all just kind of needed a break.
Yeah.
So we stopped.
I went and got water.
You got water. We all just kind of laid there for a bit, just chatting and just taking a break, kind of still feeling on each other and whatnot.
And talking and giggling.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's comfortable. It's completely easy. But what I liked was at that point, after we all had some water and kind of laid there for a couple minutes, he was soft again. And I love playing with testicles, and I love playing with the soft penis. And so I was just kind of, just rubbing and feeling and rolling it around. And I don't know. Yeah, I really like doing that. And so that kind of got things going again eventually a bit.
But,
but it's just those soft touches that, the soft penis and then the testicles and I really like that.
Yeah, and then I think while you were doing that, I was sort of nuzzling up against his neck and ears because he's one of those guys that really likes his ears kind of chewed on, which I love to do. I love ears, and so that was kind of awesome. And I am very much a nuzzler. Like I love rub. It's I don't know why, but I had a partner at one point tell me he was like, he's like, you're almost like you're a fucking cat. Because you're constantly rubbing your face on people, but that's what I do. And it's not like a scent marking thing because I think that I can't smell myself, and if I can, I usually take a shower. But it's definitely a, I don't want to say a love thing, but it's an intense like thing. I like to kind of a
sign of affection.
Yeah, it's an affectionate thing.
Yeah.
So I was doing that and. Then you started going like really, not gangbusters, but you were really like making him come was your job. That's what I looked at. I looked down and I was like, damn, that's kind of awesome because you were both deep throating and then you would play with balls and you were double handing and. It was this massive oral sex experience that was going on down there. And then I was kind of chewing on his ear and kissing his neck and whatnot. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, I get put in a headlock by him. Like literally a headlock. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And then he's like, and he whispers in my ear, like in the headlock, I'm going to come. And I thought, ooh, I want to watch this. But I couldn't move because dude is strong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll just lay here. And so I did, and apparently he came. And apparently it was awesome because that's all you would talk about is, oh my God, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome. And I'm like, I didn't get to see it, but
we'll set up the video recorder next time.
Next time we're going to GoPro that shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, what's going on down there? But it wasn't like I was choking to death, but it was great. Anyway, I like my men strong and masculine. So yeah, he came and you were like, oh, that was amazing, and I was like, oh man, I'd like to have seen that. And he apologized for putting me in a headlock, and I was like, oh, that's okay.
I'm not dead. It's fine. No permanent brain damage.
No permanent brain damage. Not other than it was already there. So yeah, that was we laid and talked, and we talked about all sort of awesome things. We talked about the next pendulum party.
Yes.
In case you missed it earlier, it was August 25th. Look.
I was going to say, it's only about a month away now. So,
I know. It's a month and 2 days.
Yes.
So, yeah, we talked about that. We talked about the Desire Takeover, which we're not doing, but Life on the Swing Set is doing in November of 2018. We're going to be there.
Yes.
I realize that you have 16 months to think about it.
And if you want to check it out before then, go this year.
Yes.
They're doing it November this year.
And please tell us what it's like, because we really want to be there this year, but we can't afford it.
Nope.
If you'd like to sponsor us, we will give you a weekend with either one of us in which you can do whatever you want.
Well, mostly.
Well, you can't, kill us.
Right.
But anything sexual. I'll try anything twice.
As long as safe practices are in place.
Well, of course.
You said anything.
Well, anything but bareback.
Yeah.
Anything that's not bareback, I'll do it. And if you show me the tests where you've been clean, I'll do bareback. But we have to be tested. And then I have to watch you for a full week until your test results come back. Anyway, side note. So, yeah, we talked about Desire. We talked about... Yeah, it was great. It was just kind of naked chat, which I think is the best kind of chat.
It's always nice to have friends you can be naked with.
Yeah. Those are the best friends.
Yeah.
You guys know who you are. Yeah, so we sent him on his merry way, and that was it.
Yes.
Yeah. Until next time, which hopefully will be in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good time overall. Both times were. It's like we've said before, he's just so easy to be around and comfortably fluid between the two of us. So it can be any combination of the three of us playing or all three. And it's just a really fun experience for everyone, I feel like.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it's easy peasy, and that's kind of nice. And it is nice to the fact that he's so fluid between the two of us is such a turn on.
Yeah,
it's such a turn on.
Yeah. Because I have to say too, when the two of you are kissing, it is so passionate, and I can't help but get drippy because it just is so passionate, and it just really turns me on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good because and he's a good kisser, and that's always a plus. And it's funny because I remember the first time he was over, he complimented both of us on our kissing styles, and it's like it's nice to not have to change your style.
His
for somebody
style
else
is complementary to
our style. Yeah, which kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add on that?
No. Do we have a question this week?
We have a couple of questions. Let's see if we make it through this question, we'll answer the second one. But this is one we got not too long ago.
Okay.
From the Twitters, and I'm just trying to Of course, there's typos in this because it's Twitter, and I'm just trying to read it. So, I'm gonna read the full message from.
Okay.
It was a direct message from Twitter. Just an idea. Seeing the poly world through my eyes, not yours. Any thoughts about talking to solo poly people about their relationships and dating? So what I'm taking as this question is when we as individuals meet solo or single, air quote single, individual, I should say, people who are polyamorous, when and how do you talk about the relationships that they have? And then when and how do you talk about your own relationships? That's how I'm going to expand that question.
Okay. So as in relationships that they have with other people currently, not necessarily past.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
It's like your current poly relationships.
Right.
When and how do you talk about those? And for me, I'll say, I like to talk about it pretty early on. I talk about you immediately, like within. It's obvious any way that I'm meeting people, which is usually now mostly Tinder. It's on there that I'm ethically non-monogamous, that I am married. But yeah, so it is one of those things where we're talking about it almost immediately. So that's what.
And I agree. I think it should be almost immediate, or at least within the first time that you meet up with them and have a deep conversation or serious conversation with them. I think it should be brought up. But there's also a fine line to walk between you don't want to cross any privacy boundaries between them and their other partners.
Exactly.
So it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be who are your partners, how frequently do you see them even. It could just be, do you have other poly relationships? Are there other people that you're seeing at the moment? Are they singles, couples, whatever, what is the nature of it? Just to get an idea for me, it would be more to get an idea as to who they are as a person, what they're looking for, and what they like. But there doesn't have to be details as to this is the person, these are the things I do with them, this is how often I see them, or whatever. I would just want to know what are the other types of relationships that you're in, again, to paint a better picture as to who they are as a person and what they may be looking for from you.
And I agree with that completely because it is one of those things. I'm looking at this question
but I do think it should come up early.
It's like talking to solo people, poly people about their relationships and dating. For me, I like to ask questions about, and I understand that some people are very private about their relationships. My experience, poly people aren't like that. They want to talk about their relationships. So as a sort of a dating 101 thing, if you want somebody to like you, you ask them a lot of questions about them. You give them opportunities for them to talk about themselves, because no matter who you're talking to or who you're talking about, their favorite subject is going to be them. And that's true of all of us. I mean, look at us. We have a podcast about us. I mean, so it's our favorite subject is clearly us. And so when you ask people and give them an opportunity to talk about themselves, number one, you're learning a lot about them and about the relationships. And like you said, what kind of relationships do they have? Maybe what kind of relationship are they missing? but it also gives them a chance to talk about themselves, which is going to endear them to you because you're giving them an outlet, a venue for them to present themselves. So I like early on, let's talk about this now, and you can learn a lot about somebody based off of the information they give you about their current relationship statuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a second part to that, or was that it?
That's all for that one, but we do have another one if you want to go ahead and jump into that.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Let's see. Hang on.
We like questions.
We do like questions. I got to pull this one up. This one's on an email, and I think I remember it, but I want to do it justice because it made me laugh when I first read it.
Do you have it?
I got it right here.
Okay.
This is, and I love this. All of the subject matter. This was an email. The subject is a question for the podcast. Q. There's no hello. There's no hey guys. There's just Q. When is it appropriate to tell someone's that you are thinking about them while masturbating? My immediate response to that was, are you thinking about us while masturbating?
It's a great question, though.
It is a great question.
Because some people will be turned on and be flattered by the fact that you're thinking of them, and other people are going to be creeped out.
They're going to be appalled by that.
So that is a very good question. And how do you, A, do you bring that up? And B, if you do, how or when?
And that's tough. I know what my answer is, but I'm curious to hear your answer first.
Okay. So my answer is, and this is, it completely depends upon the relationship with the person or persons. If you have either a close relationship, but moreover, a close relationship is an open one in which you can talk about anything, and it's, there's no judgment. It is what, you can say whatever you want and it's okay. Then I don't see a problem with it whatsoever, because everybody thinks about something when they're masturbating. And so what if it's, it could be, your friend, it could be the stranger, it could be somebody you make up in your head, it could be, who knows? But I don't see any problem whatsoever with telling someone, but you have to gauge their reaction. So know ahead of time that they are either lighthearted, accepting, will kind of laugh it off, or not care whatsoever. So I think you kind of have to take that on a case-by-case basis and judge the people and what your relationship is with them. And if you're not sure how they're going to take it, don't bring it up.
So I think that is beautiful advice. I think that you're spot on.
But I hear a but coming.
No. But so I will say, and this is where I take two different stances on it. Number one, if you're masturbating thinking about us, we want to know about it. Tell us. We want to know. But for everyone else, don't fucking tell them. I would never tell anybody. I would I don't even tell you if I'm thinking about you when I masturbate. I don't know. For me personally, masturbation is a solo event. Unless we're doing mutual masturbation. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's mine. And I don't really want to share with anybody who I'm thinking about. But that's what I realize is I'm answering a different question.
Yes.
This person clearly wants to tell the people he's thinking about them. Whereas for me, as the masturbator, I don't want anybody to know what's going on in my head. Because let me tell you, it's crazy up there. It's sexy, but it's crazy.
But not everybody has a filter, so sometimes things just come out.
Sure, but wow, but that's not something that you say at the pub. That's not something that you text.
What about this scenario though? If you have someone that you have met online and you're communicating with them over text or Kik or Tinder or whatever, I guess not Tinder because you can't do pictures, but they're asking for pictures, and it's not uncommon to get something back where it's clear that they're masturbating.
Yeah.
And so
then that's okay though. Because
how is that different?
Because that's sexting. So if we're sexting and I'm masturbating, clear I'm going to talk about you. I'm like, yeah, because and this is going to sound great. Even if I'm not thinking about you while masturbating and sexting you,
you want me to think
I want you to think that I'm thinking about you. That way it boons your ego. And the higher your ego, the more chance I'm going to be able to cash in on that later. Wow, I sound like this creepy guy, but it's the truth. It's even if I'm not imagining you Like the times that we've sexted, or even FaceTime had sex, I'm not always thinking about you. I mean, it was like, because you're not there, or here, or wherever, and I don't expect the same from you, because, if you're using a vibrator or a dildo, it doesn't feel like me. So
except for the Clone of Willy.
God damn it. Except for the Clone of Willy. Oh my God, we should totally clone the Manticore's Willy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clone of Willy. Anyway. But yeah, it's I don't know. I personally...
So you would not tell anyone if you were ever thinking about them or not? I
would never tell them unless we happen to be in a situation where, one, we were all kind of drunk and we were having sex, and we're like, if we're already having sex, then it's okay. Mm-hmm. But like even our sexual partners, I would never say, oh, by the way, I think about you when I masturbate.
When you say it like that, it's creepy. Because
I can't think of a way to say it in which it's not creepy. That's my problem. And I'll take that as my own problem. But I cannot come up with a way of like, when I think about you, I touch myself. Like, is that the song? You just start playing that song?
Admittedly, it's not something I would open the conversation with.
Yeah, because that's even better. Oh, by the way, I was jacking off to your picture the other day.
But if it came up and there was, if there was sexy talk and there was that banter back and forth, and again, it's somebody that will take it and laugh it off,
and
then sure.
That's the thing. It all depends on the person.
Yeah, and if you're not sure how they're going to react, just don't say it.
But, like, again, if it's us, please let us know. But expect me, especially if we're face-to-face and you tell me I think about you when I jack off, expect me to spit something. I'll do a spit take. I can now see me, like, somebody coming in my mouth, and then somebody else say, oh, I think about you when I jack off. And then I do a spit take of cum. Uh-huh. Awesome. Anyway.
And that's what you think about while you masturbate.
So yeah, I hope that answered your question. I don't know that it did. I feel kind of random. Uh-huh. But yeah, so that's the answer that's an answer to that question.
Yes.
Not the answer.
Right. Because everyone's answer is going to be a little bit different. Yes.
And although everyone else's answers might be wrong, they'll definitely have an answer.
Right. That's a great question, though.
It really is. I remember, like, I woke up to that question. That's what's great. You roll out of bed, and the first thing I do is check my emails. Like, when is it appropriate to tell somebody you're masturbating? You're imagining them while they're masturbating. I'm like, wow.
Today's going to be a good day.
Today's going to be a great day. So, yes, thank you for that email. And once again, thank you for not adding any hellos or signing the email or goodbye. I just love it. It's just cute. I love it. It made me happy. I loved it. So if you have your own questions that you feel the need and desire to be answered, feel free to email us. We are theatomsoflove@gmail.com. If you don't want to email us, you can direct message us on Twitter. We're at By the By Podcast. Or you can message us on Facebook. We are www.facebook.com/bythebypodcast. Or you can reach out to us on our website, which actually I should put a place for people to reach out to us on our website. That would be easy to do. Mm-hmm. Like a little comments and questions and rude remarks.
I have a job tonight.
I have a job tomorrow. It is www.bytheby.com.au. And so send us your questions, comments, and rude remarks. We would love to hear them and address them. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning back in. And hopefully, if you're in the Sydney area, come see us at the next Pendulum Party.
Yes. Also, as a quick side note, we are going to be at Sexpo in Brisbane, which is August 4th.
5th and 6th, I think.
4th and 5th or 5th and 6th. It doesn't matter. We'll definitely be there on the Saturday, which I think is the 5th. Yeah. So come and see us. We'll be there.
We'll be wandering around.
Yeah, we'll be wandering around. If you're going to be there, feel free to tweet at us, and we'd love to meet you for a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to y'all soon.